Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Alexander Howell, and today I can tell you is a wonderful day because it's the first Monday. Normally Mondays aren't great, but from the 27th to the 31st, at the very end of 2020, my wife and I went back to Merida in, obviously, as we can talk about, the pandemic conditions, and we visited with our architect, Henry Ponce, to go over and discuss the build, or renovation, I should say, of our home in Chen Bech neighborhood in Merida, Yucatan. And I have to tell you that we came back so much more excited than we even had been, which most of you know, I've been a little excited about it. So the video about that house is being worked on now, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of information in the back end of this video, so please stay tuned. But basically, there's a lot of media that has to upload. I've got to really work with my editor to make sure that everything is lined out perfectly so that I give you guys the best video that I possibly can, because so many of you have been asking for it. So again, my name is Alexander Howell. Please feel free to go to alexanderhowell.com or email me, which I'd love when you all email me, if I can get my words right, alexander@alexanderhowell.com. Feel free to follow me on social media at Alexander from KC. I am the most active on Instagram, but at Alexander Howell from KC, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and the like. Also, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn if you want to connect with me professionally. Alexander L. Howell is how you can find me there. And outside of that, guys, the video today is 5 restaurants that we visited that I have to tell you about because they had amazing service, stupendous food, a lot of extras that I was not really expecting in some of them. And they vary from street tacos to amazing expensive steakhouse that really wasn't crazy expensive. It was just absolutely amazing. So we're going to start off with the steakhouse. We're going to go to a couple of different places. I hope you all enjoy. And again, if you want to see that video first and be on the premiere where you can talk to me directly in YouTube, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, and especially hit the notification bell. That's going to let you know the moment that that video and videos like it go live. Again, thank you so much for subscribing and liking. And here's the video. Okay, the first place we actually stopped at with some clients and friends of my wife. It was a wonderful location, a wonderful place. It was in the Santa Lucia Park, who most of you probably are familiar with if you're familiar with Merida at all. And in this park, it's got a nice little park area, a nice cobblestone path, or I shouldn't say cobblestone, it's just kind of a brick paver path area. But kind of surrounding half of it are different restaurants. And one of the restaurants was Latrado Santa Lucia. And I have got to tell you, just being very honest with you, I'm a big beef eater. I like steaks and stuff like that. And when we were down earlier this year, you know, we were on the beach. We came into Merida a couple of times, but I didn't really find, you know, a steak like I'm used to up here in Kansas City. And that's nothing against the place or anything like that. That's simply saying that there were other things that were amazing that you cannot get here that taste like that. There are some things that are really easy to get here that I love that were very difficult to find. That being said, I was ridiculously impressed with the steak that I had at Latrado. We had all kinds of different, I think my wife and a couple other people had some flatbreads, some different pieces. It was all amazing. And the environment was wonderful. We went there at night. We actually walked by it a couple of times, just kind of on our adventures during the week. But every single time, it was just this serene, perfect area. At night, everything's lit up well. You can see everyone. It's not one of those very dark places. It was very well lit. The streets look beautiful. The park that you're sitting in looked beautiful. It was, without question, one of the best environments. And I have to be honest with you, one of the best meals that I've had down there anywhere. It was absolutely incredible. You know, for what you're getting, it was, I would say, less expensive than you would anticipate. But at the same time, it was wonderful steak, wonderful food, and served in an amazing environment. So the cost was a little bit more than we were used to spending down there. At the same time, well worth it. So on to the second place that I have to recommend without question. We stayed at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, and just to the northwest of there, Hyatt Regency is on the southeast corner. This is on the northwest corner, was Taqueria Nero 60. And I know that I'm going to butcher some of these names. Just bear with me. Just keep it going. But it's this little taco place, just this little corner area. They're prepared outside. They've got a little indoor area for seating. We were at the Hyatt, so we just went to this place one night and picked up a bunch of tacos. I think we picked up 9 tacos. They're not huge, but they stuff them with meat, stuff them with protein. We got the chorizo and Eventually I'll remember. But we got 2 different types of meat, brought them back up to the hotel. We had 9, my wife had 4, I had 5, and immediately realized that we had to go back down and get more because they were some of the best tacos I think I've ever had. Little street vendor, absolutely amazing. So we went back down there. The tacos were, I'm just going to be very honest with you, for what you had, incredibly cheap. I don't know how to say anything more about it. For what you got, it was absolutely amazing. And so we went back down. I think we got 6 more. So 15 total tacos. I'm pretty sure I ate the majority of those this time. I think I ate 4 for the 6 that we got. But Taqueria Nero 60 is a place that I will without question go back to again and again and again and again, because it was an amazing product, exactly what you would expect from a taco vendor, and the taste, amazing. So Taqueria Nero 60, can't recommend it enough. You gotta go. Okay, and I told you I'd remember, and I definitely didn't look it up, but the type of meat was al pastor, which I cannot freaking believe I forgot even for 5 seconds. But it was tacos al pastor and the chorizo tacos with a little onion, little cilantro. Mwah, amazing. Have them all the time. We actually went back the next night. We were thinking like, oh, we're going to go out. We're going to try something new, a little bit of dinner. We had to fly out the next morning. No, we went downstairs, across the street, got more tacos, came back, ate them. Perfection. Taqueria Nero 60. The next is Hermana Republica Avenue Colon. So this was actually kind of funny because we had gone here on our last trip to Merida, and I can't remember if I put that in the last video or not. Anyway, it doesn't matter because we went there again, and it's kind of a burger place, brewery. They've got mixed drinks. They've got all kinds of different types of food, but from what we had researched, they were kind of known for their Hermana Republican burger and a few other things. So we went there again thinking, let's try something new. The first day that we're there, the first thing we go to is the place that we had been in March, and I regret nothing. It was absolutely amazing. Got another burger. It was fantastic. I can't remember exactly what my wife got. I think she got, I can't remember. I know it was wonderful because we talked about it the entire time. Now, the one negative about the experience had nothing to do with them. It was not their fault. The power went out. And so we just had to pay them in pesos. Easy enough. They just calculated everything up. Good to go. No credit card all the way. We're used to paying with credit card. Blackouts don't allow that to happen. But as far as the food is concerned, it was absolutely amazing. As far as the drinks were concerned, stupendous. And blackout notwithstanding, the service could not have been better. Hermana Republica Avenue Colon. Please try it. Enjoy it. Again, if you're staying at the Hyatt down there, which obviously we have, this is why I'm recommending places that are a little closer to there with 2 of the entries so far. It makes it really easy to get some really good food really close. This is a 2-minute walk from the hotel, including lights at times. So Hermana Republica, if you get a burger there, I suggest the main one on their menu. Drinks are fantastic. I have no negatives to say. I had to literally look for the negative in the blackout. So that tells you how good it is. The Museo De La Gastronomia, Yucateca. And I hope I got that right. So this place was also amazing. I feel like we had 0 bad meals the entire time we were down there, which is not surprising. Everywhere we went to the first time was great. But this place, the Museo De La Gastronomia, Yucateca, was incredible because the atmosphere is wonderful. Now, for those of you who've never been to Merida, what I will tell you is that most of the time, if you're walking on the streets, the first thing you'll notice is that the streets are not very big, normally room for a car to park and maybe a bus to pass. The sidewalks are typically, unless you're on something like the Paseo de Montejo, they're typically pretty narrow. And when I say narrow, I mean narrow. So you kind of walk along the streets and you've got the building to one side or the other side. But you have these kind of like concrete front buildings, a few terraces, obviously a lot of parks within Merida. It's a very green city, but the green is typically behind concrete. So with your houses, normally you have a green courtyard or backyard or something like that. But for the most part, when you're walking down, especially some of these side streets, you're going to notice just a lot of concrete. And when you're walking along some of them, one of the most incredible things that you can see is when somebody has their doors opened, the Shangri-La-like environment behind you. It is stupendous. And one of the best examples of this is the Museo De La Gastronomia, Yucateca. When we walked through the door, it was a typical front facade. It looked very nice. It was very well kept, very pretty. But behind it, it opened up into this fantastical courtyard where we happened to sit was a covered space. But just beyond that, it was an uncovered space with a lot of airflow. And even though we were in the pandemic situation where people had to be spread a little bit further apart, it still would have felt very, very comfortable with a lot more people inside of it, simply because it was a very well laid out space. The service was fantastic. There wasn't a single time where we ran out of a drink or our food was done or prepared or ready, whatever it might have been. The service was, it established itself as one of the best that I've had anywhere. Absolutely kind individuals. Any questions you might have, they were right there to help. And I can tell you that the number one thing, and this is going to sound very strange, one thing to think about, maybe not the number one thing, because the food, the service, all that kind of stuff is what you should concentrate on. But the reason that they call it the Museo De La Gastronomia is when you go on the way to the bathroom, I know how that sounds. They have some traditional cooking equipment from the Yucatan and the panels that discuss it and how they were used. And a lot of them you'll recognize that we just use modern looking versions of these things. But at the same time, it's a wonderful experience to go back there. And then once you use the facilities, or even before, whenever you want to, but don't brush your hands, wash your hands. But once you do that, go into the very back and you'll notice some small, kind of huts. And it's really neat to walk around the path because at the time that I was there, at least, I don't know if this is all the time, but at the time when I was there, there were some women that were sitting around and they were making tortillas. And it was just a neat process to watch. Tip them because that's amazing. But in all of the different little areas, they have little pieces and parts of cooking history. And I thought that was pretty interesting and a really cool concept to not just have the wonderful food that they served, which, by the way, amazing, but the added feature of a little museum within the place. Now, obviously the name gives it away, but at the same time, definitely visit there because you'll not only enjoy the food, the experience, the service, but you get a little extra something, which I think is absolutely wonderful. So the Museo De La Gastronomia, Yucateca, highly, highly, highly recommend. And I wanted to save this one for last, Casamaya. Why did I want to save this one for last? So we were going to Plaza Grande. Main Central Plaza. It's got the big cathedral, a lot of the beautiful buildings. It's kind of when you see pictures of Merida with the multicolored sign. For those of you who follow me on Instagram at Alexander from KC, you will notice that my kids are in one of the pictures sitting in front of the sign. They're obviously happy because they were 5 and 2 at the time. Good luck to me. Anyway, it's a beautiful, wonderful place. It's full of foliage and it's just a very busy place, because it is kind of the main center of town and it's been there for hundreds of years in different forms. But it's busy. And when I say busy, I don't just mean like, oh, there are a lot of tourists there. I mean that there are a lot of very friendly people who will tell you about the local markets that are going to shut down in 1 hour, which will not. There are people that will direct you to different things, that will ask you if you want to buy something. You know what I'm talking about? It's a touristy area. It's completely fine. I wanted to go see it because, honestly, there's a part of me that loves that kind of stuff. We happened to be leaving Plaza Grande, and there was a guy that came to us. Friendly, nice, everything that he could possibly say that was nice about us, he said. So I thought, this is a guy that I want to listen to. Now, he was the salesman of salesmen, and I have to give him credit for that, because we were planning on going to the Museo De La Gastronomia, and we didn't. Because this guy had the perfect sales pitch. He brought us to Casamaya, sat us down, made sure that we knew what to order, and it was done. And I don't know how we even got there because this guy held us in his grasp of conversation so long that we were on Plaza Grande and we got there. Anyway, what I can tell you is this. Drinks took a little longer than expected. Food got there actually pretty quick once we ordered. But the drinks and the food, we were thinking about, well, we'll just get an appetizer. Maybe we'll move on. We'll go somewhere else. We didn't. We ended up having the full lunch, drink spread, all of that kind of stuff. And the reason was because even though a salesman type from Plaza Grande was the person that got us from there to there, and we felt like, oh no, this is a tourist trap. The fact of the matter is, it absolutely wasn't. It was incredible food, an incredible atmosphere. The servers could not have been kinder. So Casamaya, about 2 blocks off of Plaza Grande on the west side, I would absolutely recommend. Great food. We had the fajitas, a couple of margaritas, a couple of beers. You get the idea. Good afternoon, wonderful lunch. We ended up going to the museo the next day, but the food was so good there that we decided this is good for now. Let's continue to walk it off because we just added at least 5 to 10 pounds just in that one meal. So Casamaya, and to the guy who got us there and recommended us, please find him. I want him to sell everything in the history of mankind that I could ever produce, because I know I will make a fortune off of him because he was that good a salesman. Fun. So there it is, guys. Those are the 5 restaurants that we absolutely loved on our last visit to Merida. And again, this list will continue, or these videos, I should say, will continue to come out because we want to try all types of different places. I've already had so many recommendations. And for those of you who are watching this video, please feel free to recommend any place that you would say, this is a place you have to stop in. This is a place that deserves to be talked about on the videos. I will more than happily visit there, check it out, and let you know what I think. And obviously, if it's wonderful, I'm going to throw it on these videos. So you know how to find me, my Instagram. I've seen a few of you guys follow me for the pictures that we posted on there of Merida and of course of the house renovation, which I'm going to get to in a second. But at Alexander from KC, then that's pretty much my social media overall. Twitter.com, all of those, even twitch.tv/Alexander from KC whenever I decide to go live on there. Feel free to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell to get any reminders of when I go live on YouTube or when any one of these videos posts. I talk mainly about Merida. I also talk about real estate and travel tips and things of this nature. Digital nomadship is probably going to be a bit more featured in some of the ones in the future because it's looking like that might happen quite a bit. But again, Alexander from KC, youtube.com/AlexanderHow1. And let's see. Oh yeah, the thing that everybody keeps asking me about that I have to explain. So I have a lot of media that I took while we were there. I took some video, took a lot of pictures, and I'm gathering all of that into Google Drive right now, along with writing the script for the next video, which will, without question, be the home renovation start video that all of you have been asking for. I am really, really excited. So if you really want to see that, the moment it comes out, if you want to see it in its premiere, which basically is when it goes live, then please, again, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because you will be the first to be notified when my next video touring the house and the initial stage, along with what it will look like after renovation, goes through. And again, some of those pictures are on my Instagram, but this next video is going to be in detail, looking at some of the specifications, some of the looks, and kind of discussing what the steps have been, what they are now, and what they're going to be going forward. So like and subscribe, would really appreciate it. Again, my website, which is going to be under a little bit of construction, is alexanderhowell.com, and you can always feel free to send me an email, which I love when you all do, alexander@alexanderhowell.com. Again, as always, peace.